Hi, I'm Eileen Kopsoptis. I'm the founder of Have Lifelong Wellbeing, and I was asked to share how I do my own workouts. And this is because I'm a PT trained in lots of manual work. I do tons of teaching on self-care methods that are very effective at alleviating pain, and I do consulting all over the world. And so I've worked with people in Australia and Canada and all over the US, the UK. I do video consulting, and the techniques that I'm trained to teach are very effective at helping people get rid of pain. The biggest thing to do is to figure out what's causing the pain in the first place, and very often it's nowhere near where you're experiencing the pain. So I've been working with people for many years doing this, and I was asked, okay, how do you work out? What do you do to stay in optimal function? Those are my words, not theirs, but this is my goal. I want to maintain optimal function. I want to live to at least 112 and be very happy about it. I want to be very functional. I want to be able to do all the things that I love doing as long as I'm above ground, right? So these are the things that I do. I eat a very healthy diet. I am far from perfect, but I eat a really healthy diet. I focus on lots of whole foods, lots of plant foods. I have a fruit smoothie every morning before I work out, and then I have oatmeal, and then I make a green drink with kale and parsley and lots of good things that I have mid-afternoon. My lunch usually consists of some kind of whole grain foods, potatoes or lentils or beans or rice, some kind of a really good dish that's delicious. I have that for lunch. My snack is Ezekiel. I love cinnamon raisin toast, Ezekiel toast. I put nothing on it, it's dry. I eat it cold and it's toasted and it's absolutely delicious. So that's kind of my day, and then my dinners will consist of mostly whole healthy foods. I'm not 100% vegan, but I'm like 90% vegan. Less than 10% of my intake of foods is animal foods. It's only a couple of times a week, and I really limit it. And I feel great. I'm gonna turn 60 in about 7 weeks, and I don't even have Tylenol in my medicine chest. I don't have pain. I do have a real life. I do have issues that occur. I had a frozen shoulder a couple of years ago. I was able to resolve it. I injured it doing pull-ups. I was trying not to make noise. My grandson was he was in our family room here, and I was working out, and I did my pull-up wrong, trying to not make noise, and I injured my shoulder. So, but I recovered nicely, full range, no problems. Back to my workouts. So here's the deal. When you're working out, it's important that you're actually working out and you're not just hanging out. And this is what I see very often, especially people who go to the public gyms. And this isn't everyone, but if you're struggling to see improvements from your workouts, it might just be that you're really not working when you work out. You've got to be sweating. You've got to be huffing and puffing. You've got to feel like, oh my gosh, I really want to stop this, but you don't. Okay, when I'm about 20 minutes into my workouts, I'm feeling like, oh man, I don't want to do this anymore. And that's when I know the magic is happening. It's that magic 20-minute mark where things start to change in your body, where you start to get into that mode where you're really burning body fat, where you're really creating muscle, where you're really doing the things that your goal is for your workouts. So that's really why a lot of people aren't succeeding. They're just not working out hard enough. And then another reason is you may not be doing the right workout for you. If you're carrying a lot of excess weight, you don't want to do a lot of weight training because you don't want to build muscle under the fat tissue. You want to eliminate the fat tissue as you're building a little bit of muscle. So there's a real sweet spot there where you've got to be hitting those things just right in order to accomplish your goals. So with that said, I'm going to sort of share what I do here. This is my home gym. I have a couple of benches. I have my bike. I love my bike because, as you can see, there's a little table next to it, and I put my laptop on it, and I listen to experts. I watch lots of informative information because I always want to learn. I never want to waste any time. There's lots of information out there, and the more I know, the more I can help people. So I'm always learning, and so I love my bike, and I love that. I'll spend 30-40 minutes on the bike. I do that 3 times a week. And then before that, I already did it just now, and I'm going to finish after I'm done with this video. I'm going to get on the bike, but I do a nice 3-planar motion routine where I'm doing all these different motions, holding a small weight in all these different variables, including some press-ups and some squats. I do, I don't know how many squats, 3, 6, 9, so I'm doing 27 squats in all these different foot positions. I don't do the same thing every day. That's key as well. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I do aerobic work, but every day it's a little something different except for the bike. But even on the bike, there's programs on there, and I'll do 4 hills, or I'll do a small hill, a big hill, and then it's always different. I'll go all the way up or all the way down. There's different programs. I do something different every single day. Tuesday, Thursday is my strength routine. I prefer free weights. They're much better because internally my body has to stabilize me when I'm using the free weights. Whereas when you're using a lot of machines, now that's external stabilization. So you think you're stronger than you are, and then when you're outside and you go to lift something heavy out of your car, your body's not able to stabilize you properly internally, and then you injure yourself. So free weights are really much better than machines because your body has to learn and it has to develop that innate internal strength, that core strength that you need. And your core is from your nose to your toes, by the way. It's not just your abs. And if you read my newsletters, you saw the pelvic core, which is 4 sides. The front's the abs, the bottom is the pelvic floor. If you have any kind of urinary issues, then you've got a pelvic floor issue, and it's important to get those hip rotators working right and weight bearing to fix that. And then the back is the deep hip and low back muscles, and the top's the diaphragm. So if you're breathing, you've got the top covered, right? But the rest you need to make sure you're addressing. So I'm going to show you a couple things. I always melt when I work out. I've got my melt mat here and my rollers. I've got my bands for doing the neuro strength with the melt. There's lots of great ways to melt. I always melt before or after I work out. I already did today. I did my my pelvis and my ribs and my neck, and just to kind of release and lengthen and hydrate and decompress everything. And this is one of my favorite pieces of equipment because this is really good for low back. I love this. Now, if you're just starting to work out, this is not where you would want to start, but I'm going to show you how it works, explaining that eccentric concentric thing that I talked about before. And how that works is when a muscle lengthens, it loads, and then when it unloads, that's when it really fires and you get the best out of your muscles. So what you do here, I usually hold a weight, and this is working all back here, right? And when I come down, I'm lengthening eccentrically, which means my muscles are tensing to keep me from falling. And then, so now I'm loaded, the muscles are loaded, and then they unload when I come up. So I'm loading and unloading. So when you unload or explode the muscles, that's when they fire, that's when they do their best work, and that's when you want to be able to do when you're working out. It's very important that you do all that when you're working out. So I love this machine because it's got lots of resistance. I can do flies, I can do presses, I can do all kinds of fun stuff on this. I can do pulls and stuff. Now it is a machine, so this isn't all I do. And then this machine here, I can do my dips, I can do triceps, I can do pull-ups. So it's great. It's got all the handles. Again, my bike and my melt, and I do lots of free weights. So 3 days a week, I'm doing aerobic work, and I'm starting off with floor work with aerobic work. I'm doing, I'll hold a 5-pound weight. I already did it today, but I'm doing all 3 planes. I'm doing all, transverse and sagittal and frontal. I'm, doing steps. I'll end up going to the floor and overhead, and then I'm doing all the squats and all the different positions. I'm doing, the push-ups with my hands in all different positions, and that's like beginning my aerobic workout. And then I go on to the bike, which I'm about to do. So I hope this helps you. If you've been reading my newsletters for a while, if you've been attending any of my classes, either at the local community college or at Wellness Forum Health or any of the conferences that I've attended and spoken at, you know that the primary reason people have pain is because they haven't addressed the cause. Everybody goes after the symptoms, and oftentimes the cause is just really weak supportive muscles. If you're sitting all day long, your glutes are shutting down. A muscle doesn't fire when you're sitting on it, it weakens. So it's important to know that, though. And so my job is to assess people. I walk them through anywhere from 12 to 18 different motions and movements on video. I can do it no matter where you are in the world. And I can figure out what area of your body is probably the culprit. And then we work on that. And it's amazing. I would say probably 90% of the time, within a 60 to 90 minute session, we can figure out what's causing it, and the person is in much less, if not completely out of pain by the end of the first session. Now, does that resolve it 100% permanently? Not often, especially if it's a long-standing issue. The goal is to keep working with the person for a period of time, usually for about 6 weeks, and teaching them the things that they need to know so that they are addressing that core problem in a permanent way, so that they can maintain a life free of pain and have good, solid function to do all the things that they love to do. I've seen people who are in pain 8 years, 10 years, get out of pain in 60 to 90 minutes. You just have to figure out what's causing the problem and not beat up the victim. Real quick example, I had a young kid, a quarterback, a football quarterback, and he come in with shoulder and elbow tendonitis diagnosis on his prescription from the doc, and there was absolutely nothing wrong with that. Everything was wrong with his ankles, and when he went to release the ball, that left ankle was not stable enough to provide that control, so that this was overextending, and that's what was creating the problem. And I never touched his arm, never. We worked with his ankles, we created stability. I think it took 3 or 4 visits, and he was throwing the football for 2-3 hour practice sessions with no pain. And then moving forward, his coach and his personal trainer were going to make sure that his ankles regained full and maintained full stability. So, had he gone someplace else, they would have been treating that shoulder to the cows come home. They would have been stretching it and strengthening it, and he was rock solid from head to toe. It wasn't a strength issue in this kid, trust me. He was like concrete. So, but he had no stability in those ankles. And when I talked to him and he told me they would roll out during practice and he'd have to walk off the pain, I'm like, oh my gosh, who's letting this kid play when he's got ankles like this? That's a whole nother topic that I'm going to get into, I think, in a newsletter. The coaches and all of these people who work with all of these athletes, not seeing these major issues that are leading to injury and problems, and it's their lack of training. It's not really their fault, but my goal, maybe I should start doing some training for coaches so they can start looking at this stuff, but we'll get into that at some point. All right, thanks for watching. This is kind of attached to newsletter number 48 in my monthly newsletter. If you're not on my email list, go ahead and click the link below, join my email list so you can get this newsletter. It's once a month, topic of interest, recipe of the month, the tip of the month, and any local events or online events that I am creating or providing. Okay, hope this helps you. Please contact me if you have any questions, any needs. I love what I do. I'm the luckiest person on the planet because I get to see people get out of pain, and it's so rewarding. Thanks for watching.